Hello, my name is Anne and welcome to a Tobyknits podcast, episode 128. Had a little peek down then to see. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. Basically, I'm a Brit that lives in Canada, just outside of Ottawa, Ontario, and I've been here about 40 odd years now, so I do no longer use my accent because I'm from Liverpool, and you know, sometimes it's hard to understand us when we get going. And yeah, I've been here 40 odd years, and 40 years in May actually. Yeah. And this channel I talk about knitting, cross stitch and quilting, although it's mostly about the knitting, let's be real. Toby is my dog. He's a little Yorkie. So what you need to know about this channel is I am a chatterbox, so you need to get a cup of tea or a beverage of your choice and get comfy because we're going to be here for a while. Normally I do this every Monday, but last Monday I was away, so this one might be just a bit longer than normal. Okay, so I was away last week. We went away for 10 days to Nova Scotia. My youngest son, I have two boys, he lives in Nova Scotia now. He moved there from the same village that we live in, and he moved there just at the start of the pandemic. Yeah, I know, really. So I miss him terribly, but you know, they go where they have to go, right? My other son just lives in the next little town over, so at least I can't complain too much. At least they're both, well, he's still here. And so he moved out there, and not long after, they'd been out there about a year, they had a baby. Woo! So my lovely little Leo, so we went to go visit them out in Nova Scotia. Now they live just outside of Dartmouth, which is across the water from Halifax. Halifax is beautiful. That's where they went to school there. They went to university there, which is why they wanted to go back, because they loved it so much. And but now they live on the other side, on the Dartmouth side, just down a touch in Easton Passage, and it is beautiful there. They're right along the water. Of course, it can be a bit on the nasty side, like when we were there in September and they had a hurricane. Knocked the power out for 4 days. But it is actually beautiful. And when we arrived there last week, the week before last, sorry, there was no snow, none. And most people think there's going to be a ton of snow down in the East Coast, but it's really bizarre because when they get snow, they get a lot of snow in one go. But it's gone after like a couple of days, because and it was bizarre to see the ocean not frozen, because all the water around where we are right now, like where I live, we have the Ottawa River runs past us. It's all frozen. So it's weird to see and hear the water lapping when there's snow on the ground. Like, it's just the weirdest thing. So here, let me show you what I mean.
Just gorgeous.
Such a lovely sound. Hey, Leo. Is that a lovely sound? What? What's it say? What's it say, Leo? What's it say? Oh, you silly Billy! Isn't that just like weird? And that was the lovely Leo. And he's just over 1 now, 14 months or something like that, I think. And a lot of fun, yes, we had a really lovely visit with them. And of course, I've been teaching Megan, my daughter-in-law, Miss Megan, I've been teaching her how to knit, and we've been doing the whole dishcloth thing because I figured that was the easiest thing for her to learn to knit on, and it was just something quick and simple she could do. And she surprised me because when I got there, she'd already started on another dishcloth, like the first one I'd showed her, without me even helping her. So I was like, wow. So anyway, so while I was there, I took down some yarn for her and a little project bag I'd made, and some extra needles because she'd never tried the circular needles. And I knit most of the time now on circular needles, just because they're easier on my hands and arms. So I wanted her to have a go and see if she liked them, and she loved them. So we started our dishcloth while we were down there, but I'll show you more about that later. And while I was there, one of the friends that she had met from the play group that she goes to every week, which I went to as well while we were there. Oh my gosh, there were so many kids. I had so many cuddles. And they're all just little babies. Oh, it was just wonderful. So while we were there, she took me to meet her friend, who also dyes yarn. Yes. And her store, so I'll leave a link to her store below, is Botanical Fibers, I think. Let me just see. She gave me a bag. I'm dropping everything right now. Oh my goodness. Everything is dropping because the bag is all tangled up. Here we go. There's her yarn, look. Whoops. There, Botanical Fibers. And all the yarn she dyes is with natural dyes. Now, I dye with acid dyes. I don't know if the process is any different, but I haven't got time to go hunting and scouring for, you know, wildflowers. I dropped a sock and stuff like that. So anyway, I use acid dye. But she took me down and we went to her studio, which is in her mom's basement. And hi, Judy. And oh my gosh, her mom and I got on so well. Oh, the girl who dies, Megan's friend's called Emma. So hi, Emma. And so we went down into her mom's basement, and her mom and I, my God, we had so much in common. She quilts and she sews stuff, and oh, her quilts were beautiful. Oh, and you should have seen her room upstairs, her sewing room. I was so jealous. Gosh, of all the stuff and all the, so I have a tiny little pile of fabric. She had like, oh, I mean, you know. Anyway, we're gonna keep in touch. But it was so much fun. I had such a great time while I was there, meeting all Megan's friends and going to all the baby parties and the, because we went to one of them too. And then good friends of my son, Sean and Megan, they had other friends that we know and almost feel like they're also sons and daughter-in-laws. So they came over as well with their little baby who's 1. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. I love being a nana. So yeah, so that was a lot of fun. I'll put some pictures at the end of the video of some of the stuff we got up to. But it was a very nice vacation. I did a lot of knitting while I was down there. And yeah, so, oh, and then the second day that we were there, they got snow. And again, it was a lot of snow. We were stuck in the house all day, which is fine by me. I mean, I got to spend more time with Leo and we just relaxed and it was lovely. And so, yeah, so I have a lot of knitting to show you. I have a finished object, a half-finished object, and a bunch of whips. And then there will be a huge shop update coming in the next few days, which I will talk about as well. So let's get started with the finished object. Okay, so first finished object is this is the Peter socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, one of my favorite sock designers. And it is super sweet. It has it's really hard to show you the pattern. Oh, there, that's better. It has like all these little, and they almost go in like a diagonal line all the way on the front and down the foot. And then of course the bottom of the foot is just plain. And this is my hand-dyed yarn, which is on a sparkle base and is called Winter Walk. Because after I'd taken Toby for a walk one day, this reminded me of what it looked like outside with a sunny sky and dirty old snow and bare trees. So this is the Winter Walk. This is the Winter Walk colorway as it is. So you can see the dirty old snow and the blue skies on the sparkle base. I have 2 of these in the shop. So once again, that's how it knits up. And I used a mini that I had also dyed, which was the color of the brown in the sock for the heel. So these are Winter Walk. No, yeah, Winter Walk is the colorway. And the sock pattern is Pita. It's from her Beatrix Potter line. She's got 3 socks in like a little booklet thing. I've knit all 3 of them now. And there's Jemima, Peter, and Peter Rabbit, Jemima Puddle Duck. What is the 3rd one? I don't know. I forget. Anyway, so that is my finished object, my half finished object, obviously, is this again, a Key Jones pattern, and this is our sock of the month that we're doing. If you are new and don't know, I have a Facebook group, and oh gosh, that reminds me, I didn't do the February prizes yet. Ugh. I have to do them this week. So in the Facebook group, which is called Tobyknits and Friends, it's a private group, so you have to ask to join. We do a sock of the month and a dishcloth of the month. The dishcloths I'm trying to just do all freebies, and I find them on Pinterest or other places. So I'll get into that in a minute. But the sock of the month is also, I try every other month to do a freebie sock, and then every other month it's a paid for sock, but I usually try to contact the designers and ask them if they will give us a special or a discount or something like that. And happily, most of them have so far. So here is and it looks small. It actually fits me. I'll put a picture of it on me, the one sock that I've done so far, but it is a beautiful pattern. Let me put it on the sock blocker, that might help. It is by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and it's called the Rumple sock. Not Rumpelstiltskin, like Rumple of the Old Bailey, I think. Or maybe it is Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin. And it is absolutely, the pattern is so nice to follow. And it's surprisingly quick of a knit, because by the time you've done, I think it's an 8-row repeat. Oh no, 16-row repeat. Yeah, by the time you've done 2, that's a repeat from here to there. So you've done this much. So then you're like, oh, I'll just do another repeat before I go to bed. And before you know it, you're halfway down. I'm like, oh, I'll just do one more repeat. Now I'm at the heel. So it's really quick. It's a really, really nice design. And of course the bottom of the foot is just plain. And her toe is called an umbrella toe, where you decrease. It's a very interesting toe. I think she designed or came up with the umbrella toe. And then this is, oh gosh, what did she call this heel? I've never done a heel like this before. I always normally do heel flap and gusset, and then the heel turn, whatever. I've never done a heel like this before. It does remind me, if I could, I'll put the name on the screen of what this type of heel is. It does remind me of an afterthought heel, but I think the afterthought heel is easier than this heel. I don't know as I do it all the time. It does fit nicely, but I found it a little bit of a biatch to do the pearl side, where you have to pick up. It was easy to find and pick up the stitch you need on the knit side, but on the pearl side I found it really difficult, and it did leave a couple of holes. So for that reason, I don't know if I would, I mean, maybe if I just got better at it, it would be better, right? It's the first time I've ever done this heel, so, but it, and I was only going to put the yellow here because this yarn, this gorgeous color, is violet, which is my February yarn colorway. And again, if you didn't know, and if you did know, you're gonna hear it again anyway, I decided to start hand dyeing my own yarn, and I decided to do this midway through January. So I'd already started my sock of the month using some minis that were left over from Christmas. And so the birth flower, all my yarn that I'm dyeing each month is going to be all your birth flowers, or birth flowers, you know, your birthstones for your birth month. Well, this is the birth flower. And January's birth flower was carnation, which this is the colorway. And I loved this, and I decided to use this for the February sock because February is Valentine's, and this is like a pinky blush kind of red color. It's really hard to see in the light. So I wanted to do the February sock, which was, who can remember what the February sock was? Had hearts in it. Come on, somebody must remember it. You're probably still doing it. I don't remember. I'll put the name there. Which was by Ellie Jones of Craft House Magic. So I thought this would be perfect as that sock. And so February's birth flower is violet. And violets have this little yellow sort of stamen in the middle. So I wanted this, which is my March sock, because basically I'm dyeing the yarn of the month and then knitting it the following month. There, that's how we'll describe it. So this, I just wanted originally to put it here to mark that the yellow is just in the middle. But then I thought, well, I'm wearing it, I can't see it. It's behind me. I'd have to keep looking at myself as I was walking. How funny would that be? So I decided to do the toe as well in these colors. So I dyed both the colors up, and they are all, you get the mini as well as the 100 gram yarn, skein of yarn, and in the one, and that's called Violet. And the pattern again is Rumple from Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, and she has graciously given us a 50% off the pattern. I'll leave a link below in the description as to how you can get to that pattern on Ravelry, and the code you have to put in is Tobyknits 50, and that is valid right up until March 31st. So there you go. That's one to do. So I've done one of those, and I have the other one still to cast on. So I'll probably cast that on tonight, actually. Probably. Yeah, probably will. Okay, so while we're on the January and February colors, I have also dyed up March's yarn, and March's flower is Daffodil, your birth flower. Now I did show you this last time, I believe, but since then I have dyed 2 more up. I have already sold those first 2 I dyed up, and they have reached their loving home. And I just wanted a word about when you hand dye, because all my yarn is dye to order. So if you still want to get this gorgeous color, or you still want to get this set, this color set, the 2 skeins, you just have to let me know, and I will dye it up and mail it out to you. I do have an Etsy shop, and they are in the Etsy shop as a dye to order, and the Etsy shop will be open today. I did close it for 2 weeks while I was away. So you can go in there, or you can drop me an email. My email is below, or a message on Facebook, or on here, a DM, or whatever they call them here, if you would like me to do it. And I do accept electronic fund transfer. I could do a PayPal receipt if you want, or yeah, that's how it works. Or you can just order it through Etsy. But when you dye up yarns, now this yarn is a new yarn that I have just purchased. It's Canadian, and the other yarns that I had been using to dye were from the US, and oh my goodness, one of them was way thicker than I thought it was going to be for fingering weight, so I didn't like that. The other one is very nice. However, I got charged $57 duty for the yarn that came to me. Yeah. So I lost my shirt on that yarn. But I love this yarn. It is so soft and squishy, and look how small that skein is. Like, the way they came, I thought, wow, these are, can't be 100 grams. They look like 50 grams. But when I weighed it, sure enough, they were 100 grams. And it's just a lovely, lovely yarn. Can you see it? It does have the little twist in it. I think it's a 3-ply. There's 3 plies in it. And it's just gorgeous. Now, this is really difficult to see the color. Let me see if I can move this any closer. It is a very bright yellow, even though it doesn't look that in this camera. And then there is gold, because, you know, daffodils kind of have that inner color. And then, of course, the stems. So with hand-dyed yarn, it's never the same. Even 2 in the same pot are not going to be the same. They're always going to be a little bit different from each other, depending on how I've sprinkled. Some of them might have a lot of sprinkles in one area. Some of it might bleed and make the skein look like a chartreuse color. It just depends on how it's sprinkled and how it's going to look. And it also depends on your camera or video or screen as to what your definition is as to how the color of this will show up. But it is really cute. And I will put a picture up of what it looked like when I took it outside, because I did skein one up. Here is one skeined up. And I did take a picture of this one outside. And again, it looks more greeny color than an actual yellow, but it is yellow. Although there are some areas you'll see where it does bleed a bit. So there's a picture, and that's of outside in my backyard with it on my post, trying to get a more daylight color so you could see, not the artificial light kind of thing. But I don't know if that makes it any easier. but they're definitely a little different from each other. And this is how it knits up. I'm trying to... And I absolutely love this because as soon as I look at this, to me, this is daffodil. This is what I see in a daffodil. And it's nice because you've got some areas that are fully yellow with very faint little hints of color. And then you've got the green. Some of the green is dark, and others of it is light. And then you've got lots of gold sometimes peeking through. I think this is a lovely color. And so this will be what I'm gonna knit next month's sock in, which is my April sock. And for the April sock, I have picked a free pattern on Ravelry, and it's called Spring Cable by Eleanor Gray. And I thought this would look fabulous because it will be spring by the time I'm knitting it. And it's a nice cable, and I really like, look at that heel. Like, I am super interested in the heel. There's another picture of it. That is such a different heel. So I thought that would be more fun, and you know, let's make it interesting is what I thought. So I will put all that information in the group so you know exactly what it is. So that will also be going into the shop this week. And what else have I been knitting on? Oh, I think I need a little sip of tea. The other thing I've been working on is, of course, the dishcloth. And the dishcloth is called Stripes and something. Squares and Stripes, I think. And it's a free pattern that I found on Pinterest. And I am using Bernat, it's all tangled up here. Bernat, or Benet, however you say it, in a yellow. And this is my dishcloth so far. And again, I'm doing it on circulars, and these are 5 millimeters. There, that's better. So they're little squares, and they have, and it's a very interesting pattern. So you do like 6 rows of garter, and then you're doing either 5 knits or 5 purls, and then this is either a knit or a purl depending on what side you're on. So this is the right side, and this is the wrong side, which I actually think looks nicer. And then you have the little line separating them. So when you're on this side, you know you're doing purls, and this is going to be a knit, purls, knit. You can sort of follow as you're going. And then at the end, there's always 4. So this is a knit, so you'd be 5 at this end. And then when you start on, you turn it, you do this side, this is 4 and a purl, and then 5 knits and a purl, 5, and so on. And you do this repeat. You repeat the first and second row 2, 4, 6, 7 times. So, sorry, 6 times. So you do 6 rows. No, you don't. You do 7. So you do the right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side, right side, wrong side, right side again. You got to make sure you do that right side again, because when you turn it to the wrong side, you're going to knit all the way across, which then gives you this line here all the way across. Then you start again with row 7, basically. It's row 7, row 8, row 7, row 8, row 7, row 8, row 7, knit. It's very easy to follow. It really is. And I really like it. And Megan is doing it. Here's a picture of Megan when I was at her place and we were knitting together. And, oh, and Emma, my goodness, I told Emma all about it too while we were down there. Well, didn't she just pick it up the other day and make it in one day? I was like, what? me like 2 days to work on that. I actually find that yarn hard on my hands. It's very, the cotton is very like tight. It doesn't glide. Sometimes you gotta really shove it. And yeah, so I don't think I could do that one day. It would hurt my hand too much. So that is the dishcloth of the month. And the other thing I've been doing is Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears. I'm one of her Patreons. She has a Patreon page, her and her husband. And she is doing this thing where each month we dye 2 skeins of 50-gram yarn. And I'm using 80% merino, 20% angora. And then we knit them into this blanket, which she's called my favorite blanket. And what I'm doing is I have got, there we go. Let's get it all straight. And it's all garter stitch. It's not that hard. So here was the first, I got my other colors in the way there. Hang on a minute. Oh my gosh, I had such a day today. Every bloody thing went wrong. Have you ever had days like that? You know, where everything you touch, you drop it? I made a cup of tea this morning. I hate coffee. I made a cup of tea, and we have a Tassimo thing, or Keurig, whatever you want to call it. And for the longest time, my husband went off coffee because it was keeping him up at night. And he bought some decaf, and he decided to buy instant, so he wasn't drinking as much. So we weren't using the pods. So I never had to worry about washing out the inside because I just used the hot water on the Keurig and put my tea bag in my cup, and there you go. Well, he decided he'd buy coffee this last week, so we bought coffee when we got back. He bought some pods. Well, he keeps forgetting to take the pod out. So I put my cup in with my tea bag in it, and I push the button, and my hot water comes out, and I look at it and why is it so black, my tea? Because there's still coffee pod in there, and I now have a tea coffee. Yeah, wasn't impressed. So bunged that in the sink, took the coffee pod out, nearly whipped that across the living room at him, and then started again with another cup of tea. So I wasn't very happy about that. So that was one of the things that happened today. Just one. So there is the first of it, and we did a lovely kind of green and brown, and then we're holding them together to make it like a DK weight. And this is the lovely patterns that we're getting. Pretty. Then this was the second one, which was a pink and an orange, and they're from flowers that she's found in the woods or something in England. And then this is the third one. This blue is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a blue and a green. A blue with purple and then the green. And honest to goodness, it's gorgeous. So this is what the purple blue looks like. I really like that. And then this is there is a bit of purple in there too, but it's got more green and blue. So you can see the difference in them. They're super pretty. I'm trying to get the right light for you. It's really hard. And look at the halo. Look at, can you see the fuzz on it? Oh, it's just so soft. So that's my favorite blanket that I've been working on, and it's just lovely. And I have these on my favorite needles, which are a knit pick. And they are, now I forgot the name of them. These are 4.5 mil, but, okay, I think I have it in here, wait. No, that's the cable. Oh, I don't even know. Oh yeah, wait, it is in here. They're wood. This one is Caspian wood, that needle color. So that's my favorite blanket. Now, Kay also came up with this great idea, and she said what we should do with the leftover, because there is leftover. This is what was left over from doing the section. These were the two colors for that middle section. So she said, let's make a pillow, which I thought was a great idea because it really showcases the individual yarn color. So that was that green in the beginning. Isn't that pretty? And this is a mited square. We didn't know that already. Then there's the brown, and you join it as you go. And there was that lovely pink. And then there's that orange. Look how that came out. I mean, that is amazing. So this will be a pillow which will go with my blanket, which I think is lovely. And then, of course, I'll be putting the blues and stuff in. Now, I'm not sure how many up I want to go. There's 24 colors that we're going to be doing throughout the year. So that's what, 12 on each side. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's not a very big pillow, is it really? Or maybe I'll do 2 the same. Like do another one and then sew them together. We'll have to see. Because I mean, I still have, like I said, I still have this left. So I could probably do another one for the other side. And then, oh, but then it would be 24. I don't know yet. I'll just keep making them until I haven't got any left to make. Yeah, so that's my favorite blanket. So I think I'm just checking my notes here. I think I've told you everything. My favorite blanket, mited square pillow, March dishcloth. So, oh, upcoming cast-ons. On March 24th, Martin from Blog 365, no, it's called Knit 365 blog on YouTube, is doing a collaboration with Gemma of Little Grey Girl and 2 other ladies. I forget their names, but one designed a knitting pattern and one designed a crochet pattern. So I am taking one of these skeins because I had 3 and I thought, why not? And making a shawl. So you could do the knitted one or you could do the crochet one. So I'm going to use one of these, and don't worry, there's still 2 in the shop. And it's so funny, it's so bizarre, because I didn't know, I'd already dyed that up. And when he showed us the yarn that they were using, that Gemma of Little Grey Girl dyed up, it was almost identical, except for it's not on sparkle base. Mine's on a sparkle base. So it's like, oh, this is perfect. I don't have to buy it. I can just use mine. So that's what I'm doing. So that's going to start on March 24th. I did show you last week the Scrappy V that I think I'm going to make a t-shirt. Here's a picture here. And that is what I think I'm going to use with the rest of my minis from Advent. And while we were in Nova Scotia, I was watching Ellie of Craft House Magic, and she has a little boy same age roughly as Leo, and she just made him a sweater, and it was gorgeous. It's called Wonder, and it's by Tin Can Knits. I love Tin Can Knits. I'm making a flax sweater right now for Tristan, which is from Tin Can Knits. And I already have the same sweater for me that I made a couple of years ago. So I thought it would be lovely to make the Wonder for Leo. And then, of course, Sean decided he wanted one too. So I need to dye some yarn up to make that for them. But I now have the pattern, so we're all good. And, of course, I do need to finish the flax sweater for Tristan. Crikey. I made it for a 3-year-old, and he'll be 3 in April, so I've got to get a bit of a shake on with that. Oh, can you hear my hearing aid every time I rub my head here? It makes a funny noise. Tristan loves doing that. Come up to me and I'll just rub my Here I am thinking he's, rubbing Nana's hair, but now he's just trying to listen to my hearing aid. So anyway, so last but not least, because I've gone on for way too long, And my tea's cold. And there's hardly any left. So just to reiterate, the Etsy shop is there, a link below, and you can still order the January, the February, and now the March birth flowers of the month. They are pre-order, and I have 3 one of a kind. There is still 2 winter walks. I did wash my socks the other day, because we just came back from, and I wore them while I was there. I finished them while I was there, and then I wore them. And there was a little bit of blue dye in them. So any of the yarn, I'm sure everybody knows this, but whenever you dye anything that's been hand dyed, you have to make sure you wash it separately from any other wash, because it will bleed a few times the first few times you wash it. I try really, really hard to make sure it's clear after I've cooked it, whatever the word is, dyed it, processed it. But still sometimes there is a little bit that dye that comes out in the water. I used to hand wash all my socks, and I do hand wash the brand new ones so that, you know, they form, and put them on the sock blockers. But now I tend to find most of the yarn I use is superwash. And so I now wash them in the washing machine on a gentle wash, but I do hang dry them. Yeah. But the first few times I don't. I do hand wash them to make sure they're not going to bleed into every other color going. So just to let you know that. So anyway, there will be 2 winter walk in the shop. This one is going into the shop. This is called Broken Sweet Pea. And the reason it is called Broken Sweet Pea, and this is how it knits up, is I wanted it to have more white in it. And the white, it didn't. It all bled. So it is from sweet pea, which I thought was lovely. And so the next batch will actually have more white in it. Or not more white, but a little bit of white. Here's the picture. And you can see there's a teeny little bit of white that I was going for. Not a lot. But anyway, so this is sweet pea, and this is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon. And here is the difference between the, this is a 2-ply, and the size of the one from, but look how fat it is. It's all fat and squishy, squishy. But this is the US one, and this is the Canadian one. Anyway, so that will be in the shop. And then this one, I don't know if I want this to go in the shop because I really like it. And I haven't really named it, but it's either going to be, I feel like it's going to be This Is Anfield. Because it reminds me of, my favorite team is Liverpool, who, by the way, today, I couldn't believe I was seeing this. I was texting my brother who lives in England, and we were like, oh my God, every time I'm going, and what the heck? Because they've been doing terrible this season. I mean, crikey, they won just about everything last season. This season, they've been rubbish, absolutely rubbish. Their defense has been horrid. And anyway, my God, they won 7-0 today. They beat Man United 7-0. So I really love this. And this was also, now, you know what? I'm not going to call it that. I think I'm going to call it Broken Carnation, because this was meant to be carnation, which is that. And I didn't like the way it dyed up. This was too reddy orange for me. Way redder than I wanted it. It's really hard for you to see that. So I took a different color red. This was scarlet, and I don't remember what this red was. I have to look in my dye book. And I dipped half of it into the pot to get this color, and I just love it. So I think that's going to be Broken Carnation, but it does remind me very much of my team. So there's that one. And then there's this one, and this one actually is Broken Daffodil, because this one was supposed to be the daffodil, and it came out too green. There was no yellow in it, and I didn't like it. So you can still see the green parts there and some of the yellower parts. But this is very much a rusty orange. It's so hard to see in this light. I will try to take some pictures and put them up on Facebook, on my Tobyknits business page, not the group, on the page, so that you can see them. But yeah, it's kind of fun when you make mistakes sometimes with some of your yarn colors, because it's like, ooh, this looks cool. Maybe I should just do this one. But anyway, so those will be going in the shop, on my Etsy shop, and that is all I have to tell you this week. So I have no cross stitch, haven't done any in weeks, and there is no quilting because I've been away, so I haven't even looked at my sewing machine. But I will be getting back to all that this week, and this week. So yeah, that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a fabulous week, and come back and see me next Monday when I've got lots more to tell you then. Okay, bye.